Hello? Hi? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Just not if you can hear me. Okay, now then I can't hear you, but I can see you, but you must be muted. You're muted. You must unmute yourself. In the bottom left-hand corner, the unmute yourself. Yes, unmute. It's there, just look. Yeah, talk to me.
Cooey.
Yes, now I can hear you. Hi, Merle.
Mrs. Rosenberg, it's me, Merle.
I know, it says there, Aunty Merle.
I'm on the computer, you're the computer.
Yes.
Can I talk?
Talk.
Hello, Mrs. Rosenberg, my word, look at us on the computer and everything. Who knew, technology? But listen, man, this thing isn't fair to everybody. I look like I got a whole trifle under my chin. Mrs. Rosenberg, you're looking lovely. Are you well?
I'm very well, my darling. How are you? Is everything okay? Everything fine? Thank God, please God. Listen, you look amazing, by the way. I don't think there's anything wrong with the trifle. And look at that outfit. The way I've always maintained, the way you can make beige rock, Merle, like nobody else. Then combine it with a zebra, you've got, I don't know, like haute couture.
What terminology was that?
I don't know, it's French. But listen, I'm very pleased you can't see my bottom, you know.
Pardon?
My tracksuit bottom. I've been wearing this verkakte tracksuit since March on all these Zoom calls.
You don't have to worry about wearing tracksuits or anything like that. You know, you people that live there on that side, if you walk around, even if you walk around barefoot, there opposite Sea Point Promenade, there where you live, even if you walk around barefoot, it will look international, man, so casual. Whereas us, on the other hand, if we walk around barefoot here in Belgravia around Athlone, everyone will think we were robbed. But you know what I mean, Mrs. Rosenberg.
Listen, Merle, if you call me Mrs. Rosenberg one more time, I'm going to get you to come and wash my windows. For God's sake, it's Beryl. We've known each other, 12 years now?
Holly, has it been that long? My nerves. We almost like the Golden Girls. We must also do a TV show, man. We'll call it the Golden Dish Girls. Hey, but listen, where's that other Golden Girl? Where is Aeysha hiding?
Aeysha, know. You know how she is with time.
Gooey.
Aeysha.
I can hear you.
Huh?
I can hear you.
Is she there?
Sorry, ladies.
Oh,
I'm so sorry I'm late.
Now. Where are you? In Barbados?
Just 1 minute. 1 minute.
What you
Behind
doing?
Behind you, Mohammed. I tagged one. Mohammed, I tagged one.
Aeysha, who are you talking to?
I'm so sorry. I'm playing this game Fortnite.
Huh?
A game?
Yeah, I started playing during lockdown with my grandson, Mohammed. We're in the last 10 players. Mohammed, get the golden spares. Wake up. We're going to lose because of you.
Spares?
Holly,
What is going on there, Merle?
He's on 30. I'll just shoot him once, Mohammed. You should have gotten those minis. No. I'm dead.
Aeysha? Aeysha, are you all right? What's going on there?
Aeysha?
Hello?
Hello, ladies. I'm sorry. We lost.
Aeysha,
We were so close.
Are you well?
I'm okay. Just got carried away a little bit. But are you okay? Did you,
Yes, we're fine. We're happy to see you.
yeah. So did you get the packages?
Yes.
Did you open the packages, Beryl?
No, you said Hamas.
Hamas? Hamas what?
Hamas, wait for the Zoom call before I open the package.
Beryl, you and that old silly joke. You know, Aeysha, ignore her. Beryl can be so foolish when you give her time.
No, I'm very excited for you to open it. Come, guys.
I've got it here.
Open it now.
I've got my package.
You know, Merle, because I started a business. I started a business during lockdown, selling PPE. And I'm very excited for you too. You know the PPE, right?
The what?
The PPE. You know, you put the PPE on your face and it protects you from the virus. The PPE protects you from the
The
virus.
pee-pee.
Oh, my ears. Now the Lord must come.
PPE. Personal protective apparatus. It's like sanitizer and masks. It's custom. It's
I
custom
see.
for you.
Yes. Oh, masks. Yes, PPE. Yes. Another mask. How wonderful to add to my collection of 75 at the front door.
I'm happy you.
Mrs. Rosenberg. I mean, you can never have enough masks. My husband Dennis even says about our neighbor, Mrs. Punzai, he says he hopes that she's got 2 masks because she's so two-faced. Dennis can buy a flow.
You know, Aeysha, I was hoping that you would have sent one of the ones your people with the what do you call
The
these?
parda.
Yes, the parda. I want you to get me one of those for the pandemic, but like a designer one from Dubai. Don't they make like a Prada parda?
Yes, they do. I can get one.
I thought so.
Next week.
Shoo, no, man. But you have always been so ahead of the curve, Aeysha. I'm not just thinking, look at you. Always ahead of the curve. I mean, the whole world looks like you now. Life is strange, eh? Oh, my nerves. My very own home fogger.
It's a fogger, my darling, a fogger, a home fogger. Although, to be honest, a home fogger would come in quite handy at the moment.
You know, I've wanted one since the beginning of lockdown already. Thank you very much, Aeysha. I sincerely appreciate it. God bless. God bless.
A pleasure. My pleasure, man.
Aeysha, I don't want to upset you now. Eh? We already got a glimpse of your temper earlier on. Now, I don't want to make you cross or anything like that. But these silly people who did the deliveries, they now actually left the invoice in the box. It says here 800 Rand cash on delivery.
I'm so sorry, Merle. This is so embarrassing. This is a mistake. I'm so sorry. You know, such a big mistake. I would never charge my friends 800 Rand. I gave you 10% discount. It's 720 Rand. And you don't have to pay today. You can pay tomorrow. Before 2.
Merle,
Go fogger!
are you okay there? Merle?
Dennis! Not my hair! My chest!
Merle?
Merle, are you all right? Merle? What? Aeysha, what have you... What?
You should be... Merle? You know, there's only a 1% chance of, asphyxiation. Just 1%.
Away, massacres! Wow, it's so amazing to be here. Thank you everyone for watching at home. And then the very important people, look, these are VIPs. VIPs sitting here. They didn't pay. Shame, unemployed people, but we are so happy that we can make you happy and that we can make you smile. What a time it's been in South Africa. Oh, Nikita, you will never know anything about my home. Never know how good it... I wouldn't play that number. Oh, Nikita, you are... Okay. You sound like Elton John. Maybe I must just sing that alone at home in my blue gown. So, woo! Yeah, so if you don't know, if you're watching this in other parts of the world and you don't know why everyone in Cape Town and South Africa has been singing, Cape Town and South Africa, two separate places, why everyone in South Africa has been singing Nikita over the past 10 days, then I want to be your friend, because you obviously don't live on Twitter and you obviously don't live on Facebook, but a lot of drama has been going on. But we move on, and we move on so swiftly because life carries on. The drama will always be there. Next week there'll be something else. And I like to focus on positive things, like the matriculants are now writing the exams. I mean, a round of applause for matriculants. Shame, they've been through such a lot. Hey, imagine getting to matric and then it's a pandemic, you know, and it's your 4th time in matric. You're thinking, how bad can my luck get? So they're going to write exams. They've been through so much. And we wish them the best with the exams. Some of them, of course, will be writing in isolation, because we've had some of them in Cape Town. You see, more than 60 or 70 of them went to a party in Claremont. Hey, that's obviously not the higher grade class. Shame. They're watching me from bed now. It's obvious. Kyk hoe lê jy nou van wil uitgaan. So they went out, if you don't know this, and they went to a place in Claremont. No masks. That's why I say it's not the high, because maths is about formula. So this group, they don't do maths at school. So they went with no mask. Because, I mean, the maths is simple. It's like, okay, say my now, I go out in a pandemic, no? And say my now, I don't wear a mask, no? And then say my now, we have shooters. And then I pray with somebody. And say my now, he's got the virus, no? And then I'm going to go home, and I'm also going to have COVID. Yo, that's hectic. So that happened. But we pray for them, and we hope that it's going to be okay. So for those of you writing your exams, we wish you the best. Parents are very relieved that things are slowly creeping back to normal. I know what a tough time you've had with homeschooling. Homeschooling has really, your children put you on the spot, because some parents look clever. Because you know how to give instructions. You look clever and you pick a net. But the children ask you simple questions from the textbook. And you're like, oh, you're a Bronwyn. So you were praying, please, can't things get back to normal? Because there your child is, and it's always in the kitchen when you're trying to, because dishes just wouldn't end during COVID. They had babies, spoons had babies under the water, and dishes, and then the child's running, you know, mommy, just tell me quickly about Pythagoras. And you, Pythagoras is a Greek. Oh, and he made a pie. And the whole world, they fried them duck on his pie, and that's Pythagoras. And your lighty is like, oh, but mommy, they said there's something about a triangle. It's like, yes, because he didn't only make pies, he made a samosa after. He made a pie, and that's now Pythagoras made a samosa and a pie. But mommy, they say something about the hypotenuse. You're like, you go ask your daddy about the entanglement. So, but we know a lot of you are not like that. You are clever parents, because you tell your lighty, in a right angle triangle, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. Hashtag you feel hyped. So we were relieved when that was over, and you go, the mommy says, go ask your daddy questions, and the mommy runs out, because we could run out eventually. We could go to shops, and it was hectic when we didn't know shops are going to close in the middle of the day. Are they going to be open? Some of you, your necessities, you ran off to Clicks. But now this year, we also couldn't just go on any weekend to Clicks. EFF was protesting in front of Clicks because of shampoo. The EFF said they're going to shut the country down, not because of gender-based violence, not because of corruption in government, because of shampoo. Because somebody said dry damage. That's my hair. They must call it dry damage there. And they said, you're not allowed to say that Marc Lottering or people like Marc Lottering have dry damage there. And I was like, yes, I'm with you, EFF, because my hair is fabulous. I don't want anybody calling it dry damage. But I was confused, because I saw 1 or 2 EFF members protesting against the shampoo ad with the dry damage hair. Protesting there with weaves that they bought in India to cover The dry, damaged day. Life is beautiful. So... So you live in a very interesting country, my sweetheart. You live in a very, very interesting country. And still, with all this drama, somehow we move on. And we have to move on. So I'm happy to be here tonight, because the museum, obviously, very special to all of us and to all of you who've bought tickets. We know it's special to you, and we're here to keep the doors of the museum open. And it's for a good cause. And so I thought, because the very space talks about, a time when you knew the world could be very ugly. Those times come and go in the world all the time. Lots of political strife. People who don't like other people because of the way that they look. And I wasn't born in District 6, because you must now see, you didn't look so young. So I can feel you saying that. But for the people watching who grew up in the 80s, there was also lots of political strife. And and we grew up during a time when people were running from tear gas. We were at high school, running from Caspers. And at that time, and some people left home. Some parents never saw those kids again. They never, nobody knows what's happening. Some people live with this trauma and this hurt. We just don't talk about it a lot. So, at a time like this, you also want to remember people like Ashley Creel and their families. We just never acknowledge what a lot of people go through all the time. And I can feel you going, Mark, but it's supposed to be comedy, but you're going in a different direction. That's because the show is full of textures. Like I'm painting here, and then Nik and them come and go, lucky Olivia. But this is like life is different colors. So when I was in high school, when all of this was happening, I wrote a song, which is why the piano's here. I'll tell you a bit about this piano in a minute. And I wrote a song about, someone who was in the 80s, running around in the 80s, and he had a pen friend. And I grew up in the time before Facebook, when you had pen friends. That's when you actually picked up a pen. Remember pens? Hashtag Throwback Thursday is that thing that you write with. And you picked up a pen and you wrote a letter to somebody. And you went to the post office and you put an email sticker. And then you had pen friends from all over the world. I even had pen friends in Durban, Wallaikasam. And pen friends I did, Sydenham and Chatsworth. But in the letter it sounded amazing. And then you write to these pen friends, and I had a pen friend in France, and I had a pen friend in Germany, and I had a pen friend in America, and we were obsessed with Americans. So somehow it affects us. People believe that if they're speaking like, that somehow that's a whole lot better. Because at that time, we were being fed all the American stuff. Whatever you saw on TV. In Dallas, when they had orange juice and toast, we also had orange juice and toast. I used to get upset when they just leave a toast in a hurry. You're like, so Alan, you didn't finish your toast. Because the American way of life was so liquor to us. And I thought, well, I imagined a old called Neville writing to his pen friend in America, and she's telling him how liquor life is. But it's in the 80s. Neville's running around from Caspers, and one day Neville just never ever wrote back. And this was a song that I wrote, and maybe after tonight, and I wrote it when I was at high school, and I never really performed it. Maybe after tonight it will also go to number one like my other songs. Oh, guys, stop it already. So, no, I should have had one of those singers in, but the museum said, budget, tack. So I'll sing the song I wrote in the 80s. Now, this piano belongs to a gentleman from District 6, and he donated this piano to the museum, Mr. Mervyn Africa. He is here tonight. That's Mr. Mervyn Africa. This is Mervyn's piano from that time. Mervyn, we tried to tune it today. We tried. So, but this brings me back to another. We don't acknowledge enough of our heroes. There are so many untold stories. I only knew about what Mr. Mervyn Africa was all about when I asked about this piano. And the man has been in exile. The man big abroad in writing music for film, for documentaries, stuff that we need to know about, stuff that our young people need to know about. So, sir, tonight we honor you. So this piano It's from that time, and I feel that I've got a lot because he's very gifted, and I feel I have a lot in common with Mervyn. When I read it, it was like, ek lees nou my eie CV. So, because we have so much in common, you know, because his name's Mervyn, and Mark starts with an M, and his surname is Africa. I was born in Africa, and it's crazy. Hashtag snap. Get out of here. Stop it already, Mervyn. And of course, studied music. I also studied music. And Mervyn went to Holy Cross School in Nile Street. And from the age of 5, learned to play the piano. I was at Squale Primary. But my connection with Holy Cross is my father was a pastor. But I was at Squale Primary. We see, it was just, I can feel the vibes all the time. And I had to play piano at school as well. And that time, you know, at Squale Primary, it was very uncool when you had to go play the piano. Different now, everybody wants to be artistic. But then, you know, you had to, when other kids were doing cool stuff like going to PT or whatever, then you walking off to your music with your Trinity College of London book. Can you learn ta 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 ma wa. But you know, these things, I mean, it's so important, and that's what I did. And I felt very, you know, I felt uncool, and I speak for a lot of those kids at that time. They felt uncool. It was almost like one of those kids who were wearing those. Remember when we grew up, there were kids with bracelets. They were allergic to penicillin. You know, and then you always used to wonder. I used to envy the kids who were allergic to penicillin because they got to do things that I always wondered. Like, if they didn't want to do sport, they would just say, allergic, miss. Because I hated sport. Okay, ek wil look a bracelet. I also want to be allergic. I came home and I said to my parents, I want to be allergic to penicillin. And you know, my father was a pastor. They said, allergic to penicillin. I come up against that in the name of, you know, God, I fall, Jay. You know, the way I grew up, they didn't wait for you to fall. They didn't have time. Dale penicillin. So we have so much in common, but I drift off the topic. So this is a song. It's called Neville's Song, and I wrote this when I was at high school, and I got the band. How amazing is this band? We're going to do it from G. Yeah. Neville had his best pen pal. A letter from her always made his day. He loved the way she lived and laughed across the water, oh so far away. She'd tell him about her fancy life. Democracy was cool. She'd say, Neville, won't you please write back? I'd love to hear from you. And he'd say, us not so liquor here by us in Athlone. Ooh, our teachers are all locked up. It's like we prisoners in our homes. And the tear gas burns our brown eyes when we try to sleep at night. Oh no, it's not so liquor here by us in Athlone. Ooh. Neville's letter stopped one day. A day, a week, a month, a year went by. She tried to call him on the phone. Someone picked up on the other side. Neville is no longer here, his mommy said through tears. They never found a body, but at night she swears to hear. She hears a snot, so liquor here by us in Athlone. Ooh, our teachers are all locked up.
just like we prisoners in our homes. And the tear gas burns our brown eyes when we try to sleep at night. Oh no, us not so lekker hier by us in Athlone. No, no, us not so lekker hier by us in Athlone. No, no, us not so lekker hier by us in Athlone. Ooh. Thank you. I know I also felt it. So, you know, we go through a lot of stuff, but this is what I love about South Africans. Somehow in comedy, no matter what we go through, we still find the reasons to smile. We still find the reasons to laugh. So I want to encourage you, you know, before I hand over the microphone, don't give up on stuff, you know. Even now, let's try to be optimistic. Although New Year's Eve, I was thinking about New Year's Eve yesterday. What are you going to do New Year's Eve? I can't say Happy New Year. Nee. I mean, New Year's Eve is going to be hectic. Hey, because we can't hug each other, because, you know, there are people who wait for New Year's Eve. That's the only time they get a lekker smooch, a lekker kiss. Hulle wag eintlik weer wanneer kom eens aan. So, Happy New Year. So now we can't do that. So we can know Happy New Year, Happy New Year. But there will be people who will drop the mask New Year's Eve. You're going to think of me New Year's Eve because there are those people, you know them, they're in your family, they work with you. You know, they never wear the mask. You know, they just go and there's no social distance. And those are the people, usually it's the anxious ones. You know, we get sick. But the ones who are like, he's your nana's corona, may know. You know, nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them. But still, through all of that, be optimistic, you know, be optimistic. And even when you go to the shops, be patient to the restaurants, because now you got to take the time for this, the temperature gun that the waiter takes out. The waiter's got so much power in that moment. And they don't even speak to you like clearly, you know, you got to like, excuse me. And the minute you say, excuse me, you're the weaker person in the conversation. Because you go, sorry. Even in the supermarkets with that mask on, you know, behind the mask, nobody's enunciating. Because they're asking you, do you tap? You want to tap your card? Tap. Sorry, what? Sorry. You tap your bag, your card, you got a bag. Mark your back up. So do you want to tap? But be more patient with people, be more patient, and you know, and then you fill out I see a lot of the people fill out nonsense when they fill out those books at the thing. I've checked that register. It's not even your own name. Because I imagine there's somebody, it's her duty, she's a casual. She must go through that hardcover every night, and she's going, you know, Avril, September is nog altyd die 6.7, my God. So fill out the proper details, be nice to people, and I will leave you with this. I will say to you, please people, Kanala, I beg you, the Jerusalem challenge is over. It's finished now. It's finished, Kanala, ek sê al klaar, shukran vir jou. It's over, because everybody... And the ones who knew it well, you saw them, they bakgat. They don't just go for their head. Or something. Wow! It's over. Leave it now. As kaka, put down. Mommy, eat Annie's. So it's over. It's over. I even saw doctors doing the Jerusalem challenge. The doctors and the nurses were all there on the roof, Netanya, doing the whole Jerusalem. I saw them on TV doing Jerusalem. Ek dink, Here, wie is in ICU? Doctor, I can't breathe. Ventilator. I know you need a ventilator, but can you do this? Thanks for listening to me. Lots of love.
Phew, I'm all sweaty from all that fogging.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You fine? I want to thank you, Merle, for getting us this night at the museum tickets.
Yes, it's very wonderful. You know, we all need to laugh in this country, especially at the moment, you know, Merle. And the 80 Rand I'm going to put into your bank account. If you could please just WhatsApp me the bank details.
Oh, no. I don't even want to have that discussion. With us, Dennis and I, we never ever talk about money. It's not an issue for us. So don't worry about that. Besides, you know, I just like to help out with fundraising initiatives wherever I can.
No, I insist.
No.
No, I couldn't, Merle. I absolutely, I can't, I won't, and I don't.
Beryl, I think we should accept Merle's generosity. Generosity is very, very important, which is why I made it a point to give you 10% discount. I think we should accept the tickets. Thank you so much, Merle.
You know, I don't want to get involved in this discussion, man. I now consider the subject closed. I've told you all before, we are just here to raise some money to make sure that the doors of the District 6 Museum remain open. I mean, it's such a lovely place. I mean, they've got so many stories they tell there and so many lovely pictures. And a person never ever gets to see photo albums really these days.
That's true.
Beryl, tell me, have you been to the District 6 Museum?
Yes, actually, we were at the opening because my family are very proud District 6 residents. My grandfather, Shmuley, he was one of the moles there in District 6.
He was blind.
No, the mole, the Jewish circumciser. Aeysha, you also have them. What do you call them?
Doctors.
Yes, well, he was a doctor, but just without a degree, basically. And he had a shop. I'll never forget. It was next to banks. I saw pictures. He used to keep second-hand clocks in the window, Merle.
Clocks?
Yes, well, you know, what was he going to put there? Second-hand foreskins.
Just St. Joseph's lilies. I mean, you can never go wrong with St. Joseph's lilies.
Anyway, he was very, very successful, did a lot of the things. And his brother, Jaime, he was a wilde chaya. I mean, that man, he's very fond of the shiksas.
The shiksas?
Yes, the non-Jewish ladies of color.
What about the Immorality Act?
Well, he took his chances, Aeysha. And you know how mixed the community was back then. I mean, there's a very good chance your husband, Mohammed's from District 6. I mean, imagine he and I could be cousins.
Well, Mohammed and I are cousins.
What?
Mohammed is my cousin.
You're joking.
Yeah, our romance blossomed many years ago. We actually used to visit District 6. When I used to come from Johannesburg, we used to go to the Star Bioscope. The whole family used to come. Even the children, the babies we used to bring with. And if the baby cried, the scholars would shout from the balcony, "He formed Tet."
What does that mean?
Those were very good times. But, Merle, Beryl, I know what these guys are doing. It's very, very good. But these online shows, I'm not really a fan. I mean, 1 minute you're watching the show, the next minute it's like...
Aeysha, there's something wrong with your computer, Aeysha?
It's freezing.
No, it's not freezing. I'm just saying what happens when you watch it. It goes like...
You bloody good, eh? You had me fooled. You should do some of that statue stuff there at the waterfront.
Merle, I'm actually classically trained in mime. I got top marks as Jacques Lecoq in Paris. I'm very good at mime.
What are you miming now?
Look, I'm in a bubble.
Oh, my word.
It's very good, Aeysha. Very good.
So many
Merci
hidden
beaucoup.
talents.
You know, Dennis also says that he's got some problems with online shows. He's again always complaining about the performers themselves. Dennis says to me, he's so tired of hearing them say, all proceeds go to this, all proceeds go to that, but you never actually really see them hand over the proceeds, man. So true as God, while Dennis is telling me the story. There we're standing in Canal Walk in the parking area while Dennis is talking. Marc Lottering drives past in a BMW. Dennis nudges me. He says, calculate proceeds, calculate proceeds.
You know, Merle, I think that's a bit unfair on Mark because I think he's just a wonderful character and he's always impeccably dressed and the hair is unbelievable, that hair. I don't know how he gets it like that. And it's so funny. But I mean, of course, all the gays are.
Is he gay?
No, Aeysha, he's happily married to a young woman from Clifton and they've got 3 kids, bishops, and he plays golf on the weekends. Of course he's gay.
Aeysha, but listen to me, man. Please tell me, what do you make of that Riaad Moosa chap?
To be a waste, to be honest. I know he's fine with the jokes, but like his parents, I feel sorry for his parents. I mean, to spend so much money, like for 7 years, for your son to become a clown. No, he should be embarrassed.
I think that's unfair, Aeysha. I think Riaad, I mean, he's actually one of my favorites and not just funny, but so attractive as well. He's got that salt and pepper look that he's developed in the midlife years and the physique, he's maintained the physique. And such intelligent humor. I find him very exciting to watch.
His nose is too big.
No. And, you know, so what? He didn't become a doctor. At least now he's not on the front line and he's not going to get infected. I think maybe he saw it all coming.
You know, Beryl, while I'm looking at you now, I'm thinking, are you not related to that Nik
Rabinowitz, my darling. The Rozenkowitzes were the sextuplets.
That's right, yes. You know, I remember they were very famous. I mean, my heart broke. The parents got divorced in the 80s. But wouldn't you, having to sing happy birthday 6 times on one morning every year? No, I couldn't.
You know, Merle, I'm actually very friendly with Nik Rabinowitz's mother-in-law, Lily. In fact, I'll never forget, this is going many years back now. She invited me to his first, what they call, gig in observatory.
How was it?
Very average. And to be honest, I think he's gone downhill from there, you know. That night, you know, I don't remember the most memorable thing that happened was getting mugged on the way to my car.
Well, you know, I've always maintained, observatory is not a proper white area.
Ladies, excuse me a second. I've just got to attend to something. I'll be right back.
Off you go, lovey.
Where's she going? Merle, must I show you how to do this? You just, like, it's not difficult. You go like this, but you have to, it has to look like it's, no, Merle, it's not the Macarena. Can you do the Macarena?
Do Jerusalem?
No, I think it's haram to do Jerusalem.
Maaf.
Salam, Ufa, 5Ks, alhamdulillah. It's lovely to be here. Hello to everybody out. This is a very strange experience. This is one of my first live shows. It's been online Zoom comedy for 7 months. I've been a sit-down comedian. I'm feeling very unsteady on my feet right now. It's weird to have, that's actually my actual background. I've never said that in 7 months. I've been wearing my pajama bottoms. This is the first time I'm out of pajamas. And you can unmute yourselves, guys. It's fine. I spent lockdown with 3 small children under the age of 10. My life expectancy, I spoke to some actuaries, it's dropped by 30%. And how you work that out is if you have kids, what you do is you take your own life. You calculate from the time of your birth. That first year, that's 100% of your life. Your second year, 50%, sir. Your third year, that's a third. You have to add all those numbers up to infinity and divide that by 2 for the lockdown. And that's how you get your life expectancy, which I thought I was halfway through. Turns out I'm 2/3. You probably at death's door, sir. You must enjoy every day as if it was your last. Are you WhatsApping somebody here now? What is it? This is not a fucking Zoom call, my friend. I don't know what my life is. I can't do that calculation, okay? I went to a Waldorf school, young man. We only did maths twice, and it wasn't normal maths either. It was maths lit. Now, I'm not saying the maths was fucking lit, because millennials, when they hear lit, they think, oh, it's lit. No, it was literacy, like story sums. Like if one free spirit meets another free spirit. How much organic kale would they have to plant outside their off-the-grid mountain retreat comp house while simultaneously rubbing their ethically sourced corduroy pants together to produce sufficient kinetic energy to heat all of the lentils in Kommetjie, Noordhoek, and Scarborough in the middle of a pandemic? I don't know what the answer to that is. I really struggled. It was not a good grounding for university maths. When I got there, maths 102W, I was failing that so badly. It got to the final exam, and I made sure outside the UCT sports hall that I picked the most intelligent-looking Chinese guy and followed him in to this. And I sat next to, and I copied the entire papers, maths and stats, from that guy. And I can't tell you what the probabilities are of copying an entire maths paper and still failing is, but that's exactly what happened. In fact, it was actually worse because we both failed. And the moral of that story, young man, is if you're thinking of copying, you mustn't racially profile the person you're about to copy from, because that Chinese guy turned out to be Taiwanese. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're going to do it. You just look like you might. So it's so awesome to be reunited with these guys, of course, here on Halloween. And we didn't know the show was going to be on Halloween, of course, but what a treat it is. That's a Halloween joke. I can't tell if you're laughing or not. You've got your mask on. Thank you so much. And we didn't know what we were going to call the show. Three wisest men. We didn't know what. And then I thought, well, it's Halloween. We were actually having a meeting here with Noor. I don't know if Noor Ibrahim is here. I don't see him here tonight, but we're having a meeting. We said, listen, it's on Halloween. We're not going to call it the three wisest men. We'll call it the Holy Trinity. And he said, no. Nik, you're in a church. This is in a church. You can't call it the Holy Trinity. That is haram. And so I feel very comfortable, though, and this is the old Methodist church, of course, known as the Freedom Church. And I, as a Jew, I feel very comfortable performing in a church because I was the only Jew in a Christian school for many years. I actually was in the Nativity. It was the first show I was in, was the Nativity in grade 1. And it was very upsetting for me because I expected that I would play the baby Jesus for obvious reasons. It's only me and him that were born in a stable, but no, they cast me as the donkey. I was at least there was a Jewish-speaking donkey. I was the Jewish donkey. He goes, hey, Peru, and thank you. Now you can put your mask back. And it was interesting when I got to high school because they used to say if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to detention. And so we got permission. Mrs. Chiat got us permission to sit out the first 20 minutes of assembly, and then the headmaster would cue us. We had a cue to come back in. He would shout, "Bring in the Jews!" And then, which was strange because there was only one of us and me, and I didn't even know we were Jewish. I wasn't even exactly sure. I only found out when I was 12 years old. There were no obvious signs we were Jewish. We were not celebrating. We were celebrating Christmas rather with the neighbors. We didn't do any of the Jewish festivals. We were not financially well off. We had small, straightish noses, Exhibit A, and so it came as a hell of a shock. My dad sat me down on my 12th birthday. He said, "Boy, there's something I need to tell you." And I said, "Oh my God, I'm gay." And he said, "No, you're Jewish and gay." It was just took me totally by surprise. And then they said, "We have to take you out." The only sign that I thought was suspicious prior to that was at the urinal next to my friend Peter Ainslie. I would look at Peter Ainslie and I'd think to myself, why does he have a turtleneck and mine looks like a one-eyed meerkat like that? There's something not right here. And then my dad said, "No, we've got to take you out, and we're going to take you to a different school where you can socialize with other meerkats." And that's how I landed up at the Grove Primary School, and then they said, you have to have a bar mitzvah now as well. I said, what's a bar mitzvah? They said, no, you sing from the Old Testament in front of the congregation, and you have to learn Hebrew. And I said, well, where do we do that? They said, Chayda. And I said, what's Chayda? And they said, Sunday school for Jews, but on a Saturday, to fuck with your mind. And I got there, all the kids were 5 years old in my class, because it was a crash course. I was 12, they were 5. It was like Jewish Gulliver, you remember Gulliver? Jewish Gulliver, his travels. That was me, and I turned it into an exchange program, okay? They taught me the Hebrew letters, I taught them to smoke behind the bike shed. We got through it. I sang the story of Noah on my bar mitzvah, Noach in Hebrew, because he was Flemish, and I sang the opening bars went like this, Rani, which is Hebrew for getting the T-Rex in the ark. Was a nightmare for Noah. And anyway, it all ended up fine. And then the after party, after parties, bar mitzvahs, it's very competitive. And the week before, Wisey Wiseglass had his after party at Kenilworth Centre at the arcade games. And it was very stressful for me. I'd just come from the Waldorf school. They gave us 20 Rand in 1 Rand coins. They said, go wild on the arcade game. I never played an arcade game. I come from this hippie school. I didn't know how to play arcade games, okay? If they'd asked me to play the recorder or plant a vegetable garden or crochet my own underpants, I could have done those things, but I couldn't play arcade games. So I took that entire 20 Rand home with me, okay? Not just because I couldn't play, but also because I just discovered I was Jewish. So I took all that money home and invested it in Bitcoin, and that's why I'm giving all of the proceeds to the museum tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I did research on. I'm looking down at the map, which people online can't see, the map of District 6 over here, and I was doing some research about the Jewish people of District 6. My grandfather came out from Lithuania in 1886, Benjamin Rabinowitz. And the reason why the surname was so long was because the Witz meant the son of, and his grandfather was the rabbi, Rabin, and then his son became Rabinovich, and then his son Rabinovich, and then you try opening up a shop in District 6 with Rabinovich when the signwriter is charging by the letter, because he's also Jewish. And so we had to shorten. But he didn't stay long in District 6. At that time, when he arrived in the 1800s, there were already 9 synagogues in this small area of District. Already 9 synagogues, 9. There were only 15 Jews, but we had 9 synagogues because we fucking hated each other. And they... and they kept coming. 40,000 Jews came in those 30 years. By 1902, they did the census. There was now 8,000 Jews living in the small area over here. And at the same point, in that 1903 census, 130 brothels. We were also very horny, apparently. It wasn't just for us. There was no Immorality Act. And then... No, and if you go to at the same time in the Boerkaap, of course, the slaves were leasing houses from the Dutch in the Boerkaap. Do you know what the names of those houses were? The Huurhuisies. Do you remember that? The Huurhuisies. But here in District 6, we had the Hoerhuisies. But in Boerkaap, the Huurhuisies. And then eventually, it was just this cultural melting pot. You could walk down any of these streets. They talk about Caledon Street being the home of the international mafia. But if you walk, they didn't even call it Caledon Street, Caledonsia in the Russian, Caledonsia Street. And then you walk down there, the signs were in Afrikaans, English, Yiddish, Hindi. And you had this melting pot of language, this new language that developed right here in Kanalladorp, which then became District 6. And you can trace those words. If you go on a trip to Indonesia, or Bali, then you'll pick up words then. Then you'll hear pondok, and you'll hear terima kasih, and you'll hear sambreel, and platjang, and pisang surprise. Now, if you don't know what pisang surprise is, man, this young man will tell you over here, this is what, and it will be a big surprise or a small one. We don't know for sure. You can't tell. But now this is what happens to young people. You go to a club, you meet somebody, first thing in the morning on your WhatsApp, they send you a pisang surprise. So it's Then I went to Bali, and the interesting thing is the Indonesians, they speak differently. They speak English slightly differently from us. They mix up P and F, so they can't say surfing, they say surping. If the band's playing, they'll play Fly Me to the Moon. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting. They play stuff like that, right? The waiter came over, chicken or phoque, and I was like, we're Jewish, we'll have the chicken. We'll go upstairs for the phoque later, thank you. Just very different. I remember checking in at the hotel. They leave off the last letter of the word, like morning, you come back at night, ini. That's a big difference with Cape Town. We add a letter. Mornings. How are yous? They take it away. Morning, ini. Remember checking in, the concierge said to us, you stay for night? I said, we got 2 small kids, no chance of that. You go to the spa, the massage, at the end of the massage, they go, you want happy ending? You go, what? Happy ending. I'm sorry? Can you repeat that? Happy ending. What does that mean? You want wank? And then I was like, I said, yes. I mean, I'd love a wank. And she was like, okay, you wank, I'll come back 10 minutes, you finish. So it's just a melting pot. That's what we had here. And the destruction of that place, it took away that incredible diversity, that opportunity to be with each other. We have been deprived of that. Younger generations where can you get an interfaith experience like that right now? I'll tell you where you can, but it's only once a year. You have to go to the synagogue in Wynberg, the Reform synagogue, when we bring Muslims and Jews together. Once a year, they have this interfaith synagogue. I went to the first one 3 years ago. I thought this has never happened in the history of this country. But then I remembered it did happen when Woolworths, a couple of years ago. Remember that? When they put the halal logo next to the kosher stamp on the hot cross buns. And they had to recall 300,000 hot cross buns because you Christians were upset. And so the Jews and Muslims came together in the synagogue, which was fantastic because there were no Christians there. And it was this amazing experience. And as I was leaving, a Muslim guy came up to me and said, Nik, do you mind if I get a selfie? And I had to explain, it's Friday night. We can't use technology. Jews aren't allowed to use the phones on the Friday night. And he said, no, it's fine. It's on airplane mode. And and then he was like, by the way, Sabbat Shalom. And I was like, yes, thank you, Juma Mubarak. And he was like, Mazel Tov. And I was like, Slamat. And he was like, Shukran. And I was like, Afwan. And he was like, Baruch Hashem. And I was like, Alhamdulillah. And if you've noticed, there's been peace in the Middle East since then. And it was beautiful, And the other day I was up in the Boerkaap. Now you go up to the Boerkaap, and that's what this place could have been if the Group Areas Act didn't get to the Boerkaap, and had this beautiful experience in the Boerkaap. I was just driving along those cobblestone streets, and I accidentally went through a 4-way stop because the cobblestones are not well marked, and also I was on my phone, and I didn't see a car coming down, and this car nearly T-boned me, but I was just oblivious. And he had turned around and doubled back and came up behind me. And then as I parked, he double parked, and then he rolled down the window, and he started shouting at me, what you do? Don't look where you're going, you lucky, I'm coming slow. I'm coming down here going 60, but with gravity, it's 90. Plus with the modifications, because I took the car last week to Janjira, ons het die vlywige ligcams gesny, buttonklats en 'n befakte load in gesit. Okay, he didn't say that, but I could see from the car. That he had, and I was just like, look, I'm terribly sorry. I'm just, that white people apology thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was born after 94, but I'm still sorry. I don't know how to apologize for my privilege, but I'm really sorry. And he was like, don't be sorry, just don't fucking do it again. And then he did a double take, looked at me and went, oh my word, the comedian Nik Rabinowitz. And I was like, yes. He said, my brother, I didn't recommend you. And I said, yes. He said, oh, shit, no, I'm a big fan. Just last week, I sent your DVD to my cousin in Iraq. And I was like, Iraq? Yes, I got a cousin. He's married to an Iraqi. And they watched all of your DVD go viral in Iraq. I was like, really? He said, yeah, you must not go to Iraq. Nik, you must not go to Iraq. They put a fatwa out on you there. And I was like, what DVD was this? He says, no, the one you did now at the Baxter. I said, but that's not on DVD. And he said, well, it is now. And I said, that's piracy. And he said, well, if you let that go, I will let this go. And then he said, you mind if we get a selfie? And I said, okay, that's the least I can do. And I got out there. And then he handed the phone. I didn't notice his passenger. He said, Mohammed, vat a selfie van ek en die braad. Take a selfie for me and Nik. I didn't know if I should point anything out. Eventually I was like, you know what? Technically, this is not going to be a selfie. And he said, well, technically, it's not my phone. And then he said, Mohammed, ken jy vir die braad? You know from this guy. And I don't think Mohammed did know who I was, because he just said, Wie's die nei, which is Afrikaans. Which is Afrikaans for who's this attractive young man that I've never met. So here we are in this incredible place, and you know, and there's a dark history to the place, and it started out with the Dutch. You know, recently I went to a SPA convention. Did you know SPA was a Dutch company? SPA is short for DESPA, which is an acronym for Deur en Draak te Samenwerking Professioneel Gemaakt. And people don't know this, but Jan van Riebeeck actually opened the first SPA here in 1653. People have never heard of this, but they opened the refreshment station that was actually a SPA. And then in 1679, they sent Simon van der Stel out, the first governor of the Cape. And he named all of the stuff we have now. That was Simon van der Stel. He was like, what is this? Is it Tafelberg? Yes, we call it the Tafelberg. That looks like Robben Eiland. Call it Robben, that's Robben. Call Robben Eiland, that's Quagga. And he just named a lot of the kak. And he brought his wife's sister with him, Cornelia. And they came on the Dromedaris 1 because he had a fight with his wife the night before they left. He took his wife's sister in place of her, and they settled at the castle. Down there's the castle, and then they were in an ensuite, and then they got a pair of Hanshi one day to Muizenberg to pick up a falafel from my great-grandfather, Benjamin Rabinowitz, his son. He'd opened a falafel shop, and on the way, they went past Sikufle, which wasn't called Sikufle. It was called Botswana by the Khoikhoi. And on the way, Cornelia said, she pointed at the hippos, and he said, what is this? He says, this is Zaikoi. This is Zaikoi, and this is Zaikoi Flay. There's a she-cow hippo mash. Because there were thousands of hippos. Young man, you've never seen hippos like that. They were all forcibly removed under the Group Areas Act in 1967 and moved to Grassy Park. But 2 of them came back in 2012. And they demanded the land back. And the mayor said, fuck off, there's a flake. And so they never got anything. And then they settled at Groot Constantia, which belonged to a Huguenot called Jean de Long. And Jean de Long Penil is named after him. They were going to call it Jean de Long Pil, but they put an N in there. They couldn't call that, so they put an N, Penil. Because it was too embarrassing to call it Penus, so they called it Penil. And then she caught him one afternoon, Cornelia, making Merlot and brown people with one of his slaves. And they were very upset with him, and they sent him to Stellenbosch. It wasn't called Stellenbosch. He named it after his wife, Johanna Jacoba, because in those days, ladies and gentlemen, you couldn't get a wax in Amsterdam in the early 1700s. But when they opened the first sorbet in Stellenbosch, it was called Jorbet. And if you went in there, you could get the Stellenbosch, which was meant just a bit of a trim, the Stellenbosch. Just a bit of a trim. And then she came back. The wife actually eventually came back to South Africa on the Dromedaris 3 in 1706. Johanna Jacoba came back, and they sailed that boat into Table Bay. There's Table Bay somewhere over there. I don't know. I lose my sense of direction. And they sailed. It was a very windy day. The southeaster was pumping. They came across past Woodstock Beach. They went over the FW de Klerk Boulevard and onto Strand Street. And they parked the boat on Strand Street. Want het was 'n fucking strand geweest en hy daar, because they hadn't yet reclaimed that land from the sea. So they parked the boat next to the castle, which begs the question, white people online, when it comes time for us to give the land back, who do we give the foreshore to? It's not exactly clear, but I think we should figure it out now. And the southeaster was just pumping across, and the petticoats were in. The ladies, women didn't have underwear in those days. It was just petticoats. You remember, ma'am? And the petticoats were, and the sand was going up the petticoats. And Johanna Jacoba, she came down the gangplank. There was a man in a yellow reflective jacket behind the boat going, I look after him, nice for you, Captain. And then she came down the gangplank, and she saw her sister Cornelia from 50 yards, and she shouted, Cornelia, das Jant and my cook, sister. And that is where the word koeksister comes from, Kanaladorp. Thank you very much for supporting the museum. I don't know what's next.
You know, Aeysha, I will not confide in you. The one thing that I did like about this lockdown and this whole thing about social distance is that it gave me some space from Dennis, man. I mean, I'll only tell you these things, you know, because Dennis is usually just so all over a person. So I needed some space. But already when we got to level 4, he was like going, hey, Merle, it's almost normal time. It's almost normal time. When we got to level 3, he started getting all touchy. A bitchy baie fatterag. Man, Aeysha, I will only tell you this, and I won't tell anybody else this, but when we got to level 1, Dennis is looking at me with that wildebeest eyes. He's saying to me, hey, Merle, level 1, 2, and 3 is fine, but you know my favorite level is 69. I said, hey, stop with your nonsense, man. I said, keep your hands to yourself, hey? The second wave.
Sorry, guys, I'm back now.
Beryl, where were you?
No, I just had to pick up something from Buffy outside, and just took a bit longer than expected. Oh, Merle, before I forget, Arnold says thank you so much for the yarmulke.
Sorry?
The crocheted yarmulke that you sent to him, the skull cap that you crocheted.
The doily?
No, the yarmulke.
Mrs. Rosenberg, that is meant for the spare toilet rolls.
Oh, my. Do you think I should tell him? I probably shouldn't tell him. Aeysha, I also just wanted to tell you, you remember this, hey?
No.
The bottle. I've had it in the bathroom the whole time since you guys last visited.
You've had the same Istinja bottle there since I was last there.
Yeah,
before
just in case, you know.
Have you been using it?
Yeah, I Googled how to use it on the Istinja website.
You know, you should actually get one of those high-tech toilets. I actually also have a construction business, and we install these high-tech latrines.
Oh.
And it actually, there's infrared targeting of the area. So instead of like a manual thing where you pour, it like finds the area and shoots a stream of water at the area of varying intensity. And also, there's highly concentrated automatic deodorizer as well of various flavors. And I can have it sorted out for a very good price.
I'd be very interested. That sounds a lot like colonic irrigation.
My goodness me, various flavors. Does it come in lemon meringue?
We can work it out. I can talk to some people.
Aeysha, I know you can work everything out, but listen, man, how has lockdown really been going for you ladies?
Oh, my God, Merle, don't get me started. Look, if I'm honest, it was an absolute nightmare, and from so many different angles, just self-isolating, being in quarantine with Arnold. I mean, he was just in my hair, and when he wasn't in my hair, he had to do my hair because there was no blow dries, there was no colors, there was no manis, no pedis, no Botox, no threading, no nails, no nothing. And I'd run out of medication. You couldn't get medication. After 2 weeks, I'd run out of my Ritalin. I couldn't focus, my Urbanol, my Zanol. I was losing my mind. I phoned Buffy. I said, you got to get here. Buffy said, he's in quarantine. He can't leave the house. He's going to get arrested. Also, he'd run out of stock because the Herzliya Matrix, they bought up everything because they were in such a state. And don't even get me started on the cleaning mill. I've never had to do this much ironing, cooking, cleaning, washing, mopping. I don't know, since we left for Australia in '94.
Gosh, I can feel your fatigue right through the computer,
I'm
man.
finished, Merle. I couldn't then, and I can't now, and I won't in the future.
Sure. I'm really, really sorry. Only now that you're talking, I remember that you people went to Australia. My younger sister, Moira, that time also, so she almost went to Perth. So they're still living there because they made a success out of it. But now, how long were you people there for?
Oh, we were there, I think it was about 6 days. Yeah, we were just having a look.
And how has lockdown been going for you, Aeysha?
It was great. I enjoyed it very much. I don't have to, nobody bothering me. I got a chance to do puzzles, play Fortnite. I played Fortnite for 2 weeks once.
Sure, you and your games. And I'm just sitting here now with a heart full of gratitude. I'm thinking, the fact that all of us met in a hospital ward. God works in mysterious ways and still together after all these years.
Can you believe it? I mean, probably one of the best things to come out of Christian Barnard. I was just wondering, Merle, what were you in for?
My chest was pulling tight. My chest from all the dust. Because Dennis was now probably doing another renovation. Because, his businesses must always been very successful. So I think that time we were building up. So I was there for my chest. Hey, what were you in for?
No, I think there was a toothache. I had my left tit moved because it was asymmetrical. It had been bothering me for many years. And then there was the facelift. But I remember we had to keep it from the girls. I didn't tell the family. It would be too embarrassing. So we told them, Mommy's had a nervous breakdown and she has to be at the hospital for 6 weeks.
And come to think of it, Aeysha, Beryl, I'm right there. We never really asked Aeysha what she was in for.
I don't want to say really. It's very embarrassing. I don't.
No, it's fine.
After all this time, I don't think we need to go there.
No. You were amongst friends now. Come, dish.
What was it?
Dish.
Okay, I might as well say. I used to be a man.
What?
I'm joking. I had piles. I had pile removal surgery. It was the worst case of piles that they've seen for 50 years. And they did a case study on me in the journal, The Lancet. All doctors from all over the world came to study my piles. And because of my piles, new revolutionary procedures were developed just because of my piles. I still have that journal. I think I still, Mohammed, you got that journal?
No, it's fine.
With my piles.
We don't need to
No, the piles journal. Piles.
Merle.
The hemorrhoid journal. Wait, just 1 minute. I'll get it for you, just quickly.
No, it's really, Aeysha, it's not necessary. Aeysha, it's fine. Aeysha?
Oh, salam alaikum. How's it? I'm sorry I'm late. I had to change. Salam alaikum to the people at home. Okay, so how you guys? You guys surviving? Liquor. So like 7 months ago, right? Like all the shows disappeared. And like nothing. I was even like considering going back to medicine. But here's the problem, people. I haven't done medicine for 17 years. So I'm pretty sure my advice won't be cutting edge. Like, doctor, I got coronavirus. Use Vicks, brat. Use Vicks. I can't breathe. You must rub Zambak and then it'll expand your alveoli. That's what I was thinking. Even Trump got coronavirus. You hear about this, right? And honestly, I think the virus was more stressed. The virus was, I got infected by Trump, bro. You must make dua for a person. I'm turning orange. I don't know what to do. And Trump never wore I don't wear the mask, folks. Don't wear the mask. Right? But I expected him to be pro-mask because he was pro the wall. Right? But it's like, how's a barrier supposed to stop anything? from getting across. And like, you know, corona is actually a Mexican word. I expected Trump to go, folks, I'm going to build the biggest mask. It's going to be huge, tremendous mask, folks. And I'm going to make the virus pay for it. Believe me, I'm going to do that, folks. He didn't even call it coronavirus. It's the China virus, folks. China virus. China virus. China's going to pay, folks. China virus. How many people, some people believe that the virus was made in a lab in China. How many people, you believe that? I don't believe that. Just think about it. Since when have you ever heard of a Chinese product that has lasted this long, bruh? They make everything there, but durability is not their strong point. Right? You'll be like, I caught coronavirus, but I'm fine now. It broke. The virus broke, but I'm all right. Yeah, it's weird, bruh. These things are strange, you know. The world is strange now. You know, you're stuck inside. We're stuck inside the house, you know, and, you know, getting into disagreements with your significant other, you know. Like, and I'm what they call a whooped husband. But not like whooped in a good way. You know, with a leather, you've been a naughty boy. No, for me, I'm whooped as in I listen to my wife. For me, it's more like 50 shades of obedience. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm a victim here, bruh. I'm not like Christian Grey. I'm Muslim Prey. That's me, bruh. Riaad, go get some milk at the shop. Okay, babe. Okay, can I go to the toilet first? It's a number 2. No? Okay, I'll knipe. I'm going to get milk. Milk is more important. It's important to note like that I choose to be this way. I choose to be this way in this era of evolving gender dynamics. I choose to be this way. My wife is not forcing me to do anything that I don't want to do. She told me to make that clear to you people. She told me. And it's true, bruh. Like, I'm a man. I'm not scared of my wife. She's not here. That's why I'm saying that. I'm scared, but I'm only scared sometimes if I'm like if I do stupid male things. For example, if I'm sent to the shop to buy milk, right? So I go to the shop to buy the milk, and I think in my mind, okay, I have a male idea. While I'm at the shop buying the milk, why don't I buy some miscellaneous items that's of necessity in the home, right? So I buy all the items, come home, forget the milk. Are there any stupid men out there like me? I don't even realize I forgot the milk until my wife's like, Riaad, where's the milk? Huh? What's the milk not there? Are you sure? And I'm not good at lying. You know, some of my friends good at lying. You know, they say, no, babe, I went to the shop to get the milk, but they're out of milk, so I was going to go to another shop. But then I saw it was almost Maghrib, right? It's almost time for the evening prayer. So I thought I'd come home, pray for your health and well-being, our children's health and well-being. So now I'm done with that. I'm going to go out to get the milk. Not me, bruh. Under pressure, I'm like, they discontinued milk. Because you see, there was a drought in Cape Town, right? And you know, like the cows got dehydrated, and henceforth and forthwith, they couldn't produce sufficient lactation output. So they had to discontinue milk. Riaad asked to get almond milk. Yeah, the almond cows, they also got dehydrated. It's like, almond cows. Do almonds have nipples? Can you milk an almond? Like, my wife doesn't play that. She comes into the room like Liam Neeson from the movie Taken, bruh. Scares the heck out of me coming there. I don't know who you think you are, but as a breastfeeding mother of 4, I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Now, if you go to the shop and get the milk, that'll be the end of it. No harm will come to you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will moor you. Babe. I'm going, babe. I'm still kniping from the first time, bro. I'm still kniping from the first time. So I realized you got to know how to have disagreements with your partner. Like in a happy marriage, you got to know how to argue with your partner. That's my view in a happy marriage. Right? When we weren't as happy in our marriage, this is how we used to argue. Not as happy in our marriage. Now we're super happy in our marriage. This is how we argue. Okay, you're right. That's a good point. For me, the scoring system in a marriage argument is just like the scoring system in tennis. You got to lose to get love. Do you know what I'm talking about? But there's a special kind of love that develops after 17 years of marriage. You see it in the eyes of your partner. I see it in the eyes of my wife. It's a special, more refined kind of love. I see it in the eyes of my wife. It's almost like hate. You know that loving hatred? I will die for you, but I will kill you first if you don't pick up your socks. You know, when little things become irritating, like how you eat, right? My wife was like, Riaad, do you really need to eat like that? I'm like, oh, Hama. I don't know how I eat. I don't know. You know, because I'm be honest, people, I'm one of those people who make one of those sounds when I eat. I make one of those sounds. But before you judge me, don't judge me. Before you judge me, like I got a sinus problem. So at some point, I have to open my mouth. Otherwise, I'll suffocate. Creating the ever so insignificant sound. The ever so gentle sound. But my wife doesn't understand. Whenever I do it, she's always like, I can't even eat Pringles in my own house, boss. You know when you're sitting next to each other chowing the Pringles, like, even if you keep your mouth closed, right, the sound of the Pringles will travel through the jawbone to irritate your significant other. You'll be like, you know, you chew like a cow. You chew like a cow. Well, I am a Moosa. I'm a Moosa. And part of the charm of the Pringles is the crunchiness of the Pringles, right? It's not just the taste, it's the texture. The is enjoyable. But I can't eat Pringles like that. You know how I got to eat Pringles? After 17 years of marriage in my own bloody house, I got to take the whole Pringle, put it in my mouth, and let it dissolve, brother. I got a sucker Pringle gone, brother. Is this right? My wife, on the other hand, she doesn't put the seatbelt on immediately when she gets in the car because she got more important things to do before she puts on the seatbelt. And I don't want to impose my sense of urgency on her in this patriarchal and male-dominated society. I want to give her the opportunity for her to make decisions for herself because I respect her decision-making capabilities as a life partner. Hashtag #MeToo, ladies. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what that means, right? You know what that means essentially? That means we drive like this. Ding, 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 ding. Baby, you don't put on your seatbelt. Stop rushing me. You're always rushing me. I'm gonna put it on now. It's not that irritating. This is what I don't understand. She says that ting sound is not irritating. But when I eat, it's a problem. And I'm like, let me tell you something, honey. That ting sound was designed specifically by very intelligent German engineers to be irritating to the human ear. They found a most annoying frequency for the human mechanism, auditory mechanism. You think that sound is fine. But the sound that your husband of 17 years and the father of your 4 beautiful children, the sound that I have to make in order to nourish myself, in order to continue to be alive on this earth, that is intolerable. Ding, ding, ding. She doesn't want to put on a seatbelt. I want to reprogram the thing to go. But you gotta do things that you don't want to do, like when you're married. It's important, right? Like, and I used to go like shopping, like in the lockdown year. Like that's my job. I had to deal with that foot pedal sanitizer outside, like the chickers, like that thing. Is it just me, or was that the most ineffectual thing ever? Like it just is always like never working properly. Like at home, you press on the depressor on that thing, it shoots out with like force, with velocity, like a teenager into a sock, like with power. But this thing, it always comes, it slides down like it's like an old man with a prostate problem. Just This thing looks like it's got comorbidities. This thing looks like it can die from coronavirus. I don't understand how this is supposed to help. But I go out, and I will go even to buy pads, bruh. I'll be honest with you, I will go out, I'm sent out to buy pads, right? I'm one of those husbands who buy the pads, you know, and some husbands don't like, I buy the pads. Initially, when you hear you have to buy the pads, your brain is in denial. Your brain is in denial. It's like, Riaad, can you get me some pads? Okay, do you want to write something down? Must I get pads from CNA? You want pads with lines or without lines? No, Riaad, can you get me some pads? Oh, okay, pads. Okay. And I'm aware of all the pad indicators. You know, on the side of the pad box, right? I'm aware of all the indicators. For those of you who don't know, they got these little droplets on the side of the pad box. For those of you who don't know what it means, it indicates the amount of internal tears in the heart of a husband. We have to buy the pads. My heart is a heavy flow, bruh. My heart is a heavy flow. And the pads supposedly have flaps, like wings. They say it's wings. It's not wings, bruh. It's flaps. It's not wings, it's flaps. There's no aeronautical capabilities to the pads. It's like otherwise my lighties will be on the balcony. Daddy, watch this. And you see there's a Kotex like... It's like, what are you doing, bruh? At least use a fresh one. At least use a... No, okay. Now leave it. Leave that one. That's silliness. Okay. I don't know even how long I went on. Are we okay? Okay, we're fine. Yeah. Okay, the band is there, lekker. But you guys, you know, it's been lekker. I hope you guys are gonna be okay. You know, we must make dua everybody's well, because like I've had health problems recently. I'm in my 40s, right? I had what they call a sequestration of a prolapsed L5 S1 intervertebral disc. Basically, that means my back is in its chops. Right? So I had to have a back operation, right? But then, so I was going to have a back operation. I thought I didn't want to have a back operation. And I'm sharing with you now, I've got 4 children, right? I've got 4 children. Like, and I love my children very much, but when I heard we were having the 4th one, forget the vasectomy, I was ready for a sledgehammer to the balls, bro. Like proper. No anesthetic, nothing, just like... All right, and my 4th child, he came out hairy, proper hairy. Like we call it a suitism. That is the thing we call it, a suitism, hairy. Like, let me explain how hairy. When I saw him for the first time, I thought my wife had an affair with Chewbacca. You know, from Star Wars, I was scared to hear the baby cry for the first time, be like, right, so I got 4 children, so I thought, okay, I'm going to have a back operation, right, and I'm going to have, like, okay, like I thought I'm going to have a vasectomy, right? I'm just sharing with you now, right? Like, I shouldn't have, but, like, I hadn't planned to, but I said it, right? Like, but the problem with that, then I thought maybe I can do the back operation and the vasectomy at the same time, right? But the problem with that is, that, you know, then I can, like, kill 2 balls with 1 stone. I don't know, that's not the right term, right? But then I thought now, okay, I can't. The problem with that is when you do a back operation, you have to lie on your tummy, right? And then they work on the back. And obviously the vasectomy is from the other side. That's unless my urologist was prepared to do me like a mechanic. This is not to scale, It's not to scale, people. This is to scale. No. Okay, Ons, thank you. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Assalamu alaikum. Nik Rabinowitz, Marc Lottering.
All right. We're going to be like rock stars now and introduce our band, because that's what rock stars do. Yeah?
Yes.
Why am I speaking like
We've
that?
been on tour with them for the last 7 months in our bathrooms.
It's been crazy, man. And finally now to stop in South Africa. Oh my God. You guys are amazing. Buy a donkey. So,
On the keyboards, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ivan Potts.
On bass guitar, Craig Potgieter.
And on the saxophone, my goodness me, can this man blow? And he's a great musician. Please give it up for Juan Van As.
They say it's normally the pots that call the kettle drums black, but in this case, pots calls the kettle brain. On the drums, Keith the Brain.
And on lead guitar, Tyrone Marinas.
Yeah! Up, up, up. And we take it home, guys. Shoo! Woo! Just like we rehearsed.
Yeah.
So, before we say goodnight to people, we also want to say, I mean, we've got a goodnight song that the three of us need to
Yes.
sing.
Okay. According to this, right? Just like I used to rub my nose with it, but that was a ticket sold by 8 p.m. 4,506 tickets.
Which means a grand total raised of 360,000 rand, 480 cents.
Yes! You get a museum, you get a museum, you get a museum. You all get a museum. Bloody well. So, Shame you would have seen we asked the museum for cue cards, but they said it's a fundraiser, so they gave us serviettes.
Yeah.
That's can still smell the samosas. So we want to say thank you, and they've been, after that, they've just messaged us to say there are people donating. We've got 1,000 rand cash donation. Someone came in with 200 rand cash donation, so it's still ongoing. The show's going to be alive for 72 hours. That's correct.
Yes, sir.
And so we say thank you very much to you, and all of that money, almost all of that money will go to the museum.
Almost all of the money.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the thing
Take
is
all
we
the
rehearsed and
proceeds.
they didn't pay when we had to eat. Who paid for the food when we had to get there?
Yeah, we have to do that.
Almost all of that money will go to the museum. But we've of course, and the museum, they right from the start, they were very agreeable to the fact because musicians in our country struggling so much because the gigs are just gone. The museum has kindly a small donation to each of our musicians. So thank you very much. And then just for the food. So 2 days. 2 days. She watched us eat. So we're gonna say good night to you now. I think we still have another insert that plays afterwards that the people at home can enjoy, and those of you who are seated here will also be able to still enjoy it. But before we go, we've rehearsed a song all year while we've been on tour, and it's a good night song, and we're just so happy to bring this to you. We're going to do it now, and Riaad did the choreography for us, and we're just so grateful. So thank you very much, Owens. Gooi.
Good night, sweetheart, when it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart, when it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart, good night. Good night, sweetheart, when it's time to go. Good night.
Bad news, ladies.
What?
I couldn't find it.
Oh, thank God.
All good, all good, all good. Don't feel bad about that at all. Don't feel bad about it at all. But you know, I have to tell you, ladies, when this nonsense is over, this whole pandemic, then the two of you are coming over to my house and we're going to celebrate properly, man. Besides, you haven't seen my new renovation because, you know, my son Carl, he must now moved out. He's living in Greenpoint. So Dennis just broke through that wall and now we use Carl's room as my personal walk-in closet. I've now got a walk-in closet.
That's so nice that you finally have what you've always wanted, Mom.
It's wonderful. I just want to know when Carl comes to visit, now that he's finally out of the closet, when he's at you, does he ever go back in?
Don't be silly. It's mainly for my clothing.
Yes, I know, but I was just... Never mind.
Okay, ladies, the Zoom is going to end now. The time is almost up. And
yes.
I actually have to I've got some very important business to do just before the show. And this was lovely.
Where are you going?
I've just got something important.
Fortnite.
Huh? No. Okay, yeah.
I
should play with me.
I should, no.
You should play with me.
No,
it's not difficult. It's not
Thank
difficult.
you.
It's very exciting.
Merle, do you want to play with her?
No. I don't want to play with her or anybody else. Listen, it's been lovely chatting to all of you now.
Wonderful,
God bless.
wonderful.
God bless. I must go.
One more thing. Aisha, I need you to WhatsApp me your address. I need to send the box back. I'm not paying 720 Rand for this cuck, okay?
Mrs. Rosenberg, as Aisha, no, it's fine out here. Mrs. Rosenberg, you keep it. You can't go wrong with sanitizer. It's fine, Aisha.
720 Rand, even with the discount. I'm not.
Bye-bye.
You want more of a discount.
You
want more of a discount.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Say Muhammad, my love. How do I end this shit? Leave.